Okay, why are you looking at a table? Because the OPXY has been returned to sender. Okay, so let's talk about it. I personally, and I'll give you something to look at, don't worry. I personally think that the OP1 field is an amazing tool. An amazing tool, like really good tool that has amazing potential. But there's a few things that is missing. And I'm going to say this about the price, and I'm going to say this. The price is based on the value that you receive, right? Price is based on value you receive. So even when something is priced a little higher than you might like, if you're receiving good value from it and it's lasting you and it's not breaking down and it's doing what it's supposed to do and it does it well, then the price is irrelevant, because at that point you're getting your money's worth out of a deal, right? And move that over more center if you want. However, if the price of an item is high and it is got issues that are not fixed and addressed early on, and I mean early on, like before I actually receive the product, then that's a problem, because then the price starts to look really bad, right? It's already high, but then you're taking it to the next level when you do that. Okay, so here's why I did not keep it. First of all, let me say this. For all the people that say it can't make good music, they're lying. I saw myself even using it, making some quality sound and stuff. The same type of stuff I could make in a DAW, sure. But to do it in a piece of hardware that's this big, right? It's like the size of one and a half of these, right? Now I'm zoomed in, so this looks probably a little bit bigger, but it's not really that big. So crashes. I got crashes galore. I also got times where it didn't crash. But I also had uh, things like it skipping notes on chords that it should be able to play, because they were probably like 5 notes. You got a 24 note polyphony, it should be able to, per step, right? So it should be able to handle a chord that strikes 5 notes. But it would drop out. The longer the what is that called? The longer the sequence, or the bar, I should say. I'm gonna use bar because that's the better way. The longer the bars were, the more often it would do that. It would skip. So they have to work on that. If you put a dual engineer and you say that you're bragging it up to be better, I need to see everything working. I don't want clicks and pops. I need to have zero snap crossing, which they don't have in there. I need to um, have no crashes. I need to make sure that when I go 8, if I can do up to 64 bars on one track, then I need to make sure those bars are playing legit and it's not missing notes, especially if I want to do a chord or something like that, because to me, you don't have a real sample chopping method in there where I can bring in chops and play them. I'd have to use a drum pad and then record a chord in and then play those chords back that way, which then takes away from the joy of using it as more of a MIDI device, because that's the whole thing. And when you pay that much, you want to be able to use the device in the right way. So for me, that's a bummer, right? Because I actually like the device. I think the step components, I think the most of the most of the way they put it together is actually functioning, because I can't even say words this morning. Um, but in 2024, now about to be in 2025 in about a week or so, do not want to be a beta tester for expensive items that are not well put together, that are not more complete. And if I do, I'm going to need it for free, like some of these other YouTubers get, or I'm going to need a cost, like at least some of the costs shaved off. Um, if they had sold it to me at $1,700, yeah, I probably would have kept it, even with the flaws. just because I really do like it that much. So that lets you know that it's not a bad product. I'm not saying it's a terrible product at all. I'm saying they need to work on those fixes that will get everything functioning smoothly. Drumbo is solid enough as a step sequencer for me, though it has its issues too. Don't get it twisted. And most of those issues are for me, are with the MIDI. The MIDI's gotten better, but it's still not as good as it could be. I wish they would really harp in on this piano roll and get the MIDI. But they're not focused on MIDI, right? Because this is more of a step sequencer. So but when you're dealing with MIDI, you want your MIDI stuff to be right. So that said, what did they have right in the device that I like? The polyphony was decent for what it's worth. This 24 polyphony is really good. The step sequencer was amazing. The step components were really good. The fact that they have an arranger and a song mode on that thing was really phenomenal. The sound was actually really good. I don't know why people keep thinking the sound was bad. If I'm not mistaken, it was 32-bit float, and it sounded pretty good to me. And I didn't care what I put it through, headphones or a cheap speaker or whatever, it sounded great. Do I think it's for everybody? Nope. Do I think everybody should go get it? No. I don't think if you're not into step sequencing and you don't like that type of workflow, do not buy it. It's not worth it for you. You're going to be frustrated because while you can record into it and without doing step sequencing, it is primarily a step sequencer. So it would be dumb to go buy something that you know good and well you don't really want. If you don't like clip-based workflow, see, I didn't like clip-based workflow, but when I played with that one, I enjoyed it. So maybe I do like it subconsciously and just talk myself out of it. I don't know. But the truth is, I was okay with that. Even this is step-based or clip-based. And for anybody that might not know what I mean by clip-based, I'm talking about this right here. See, these clips, you play a MIDI clip in, right? That's how the OP1, that's how the OPXY, I'm sorry, is set up. It's clip-based. So if you don't like that, probably not for you. A lot of features in it were better than other features, but that's okay. I'm fine with what it had. I just needed it to work. I did not like the file folder system they set up. It was kind of wonky. They need to fix that like ASAP. Nobody wants to have to go rename files all the time and shorten the name to make it work right. And that's just too much. Like you gotta, at a price like that, you gotta have it where it just works. They need to add some type of form of exporting. You need to be able to export a song. I don't care if it's like the way Drumbo is right here, where you just press a record and it just plays out whatever you have. But at least have that, right, to start. And then like maybe in the song mode where you could just play your song out and record that or something. They need stems. You really need to work on that. You could, if you got MIDI per track, why can't you, and you only got 8 tracks, why can't you have each track go out to different line outs, 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 3 and 4, 4 and 5, so on and so forth, until you get the whole track tracked out to where you can plug it into like an Ableton and just track out your beat. What else? Obviously stems would be better if you could just stem it out, because then you have your perfect length loose. But I get if there's sometimes a tail end, it might be a little challenging with that, but whatever. There's something they could do. Sample chopping, no sample chopping. You know, I did a video on this. That's one of the things about this is you have a flexi sample. You can load in a sample of any sort. Load in a sample. Go in here and start putting in your chops wherever you want. You know, I'm not saying it's got to be perfection, but do something where we can sample chop in it. It's an expensive item not to be able to sample chop. It's more than the OP1 Field. And I get, you put more into it, and the cost of living has gone up and everything is a little bit higher. But when you charge that much for that type of device, you need to have some basic meat and potato type things going on, right? Like sample chopping. So I don't want to make this video any longer than it needs to be. I'm already at 10 minutes. I'm going to end it. It's gone for now. Let me say this. It doesn't mean that I won't get it again. I'm just waiting for it to get a little more time in the oven, a little more cook time where it's, more fluid, it's better. All the little kinks are worked out. I really wanted that device. That was one I was waiting on. I wanted to get Electron, but when I found out the polyphony was bad, I was like, I'd have to sample. Then when I found out you couldn't manually chop anything in it, I was like, definitely not. So, but then when this came out, it had everything I wanted. Literally hit every mark except for the chopping, which was missing. But other than that, everything was there. But then to find out it's not fully baked, it's kind of beta testing on some brand new device. I was like, I'm not with that because it's too much money. And it's very frustrating too when you're working on a song and something crashes all the time. So, especially when you spend that kind of money, it's more than even my MacBook, okay? So I didn't pay that much for my MacBook, although I did get my MacBook used. But whatever, that's beside the point. So anyway, that's it for this video. I hope all are well. I will be doing maybe some videos tomorrow. I know a lot of people probably won't because they'll be with their families, whatever, but I am going to do something tomorrow. I don't know. I might just do something where I'm just making some music. But whatever the case may be, I will be doing a video. I wanted to get this video out just to let you know the OPXY, I keep saying OP1 because I'm so used to that, but OPXY, I do not have it. I will not make videos for a little while on that because of the fact that it's simply not finished. The item is not completed, and I just can't deal with that right now. So I'm going to focus on other things that you guys enjoy, iPad stuff. I'm still debating, speaking of this, on whether I'm keeping this. I like it for the sound, but the workflow is still kind of a bit much to where I'm just not, I don't know if I like it. And yes, it has step sequencer, and yes, you can record, but it's a little more button mashing than I really want to do right now. So I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, stay tuned. More to come. I'm out.